Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Assalamu alaikum. Peace be upon you. My name is Brother Omar Rashed, and I'm the author, poet, and Peaceful Heart's Guide. And I wanted to share with you an incident that happened with me not too long ago. I had just gotten out of another argument, and the person was so mean to me. They were insulting me, demeaning me, telling me how worthless I was. They told me I was a failure. They told me I was useless, and I kept making the same mistakes over and over again, that I never learned my lesson. How could I be so stupid and make the same stupid mistakes over and over again? My heart was crushed. I felt so powerless. I felt so hopeless. I was sweating. I was crying. I felt all alone, and I felt like no one cared about the struggles I was going through. All I really wanted was to feel better. All I wanted was for these negative voices and for these mean comments to stop. But this wasn't a friend of mine, or a loved one, or a child, or a parent talking to me so harshly. It wasn't a coworker, and it wasn't a friend. It wasn't even my supervisor. It wasn't even my worst enemy. In fact, all of these negative words were coming from my own self. These were words I was saying to myself. The reality is, I wanted to stop all of these negative thoughts. I wanted to stop all of this negative thinking. I wanted to get out of it. I wanted them to stop, and I wanted to feel better. And I wanted to stop beating myself up so hard while I was stuck in the cycle of negative thinking. But really inside, I just wanted to feel hope again. I wanted to feel hope that Allah was with me and that someone heard me and would help me to get out of this situation, and that I could feel hope for a happy day tomorrow. The problem is everybody telling me how to get out of negative thinking. They always told me the same thing. All you have to do is think positive. All you have to do is change the way that you're thinking. Stop beating yourself up. But how? It doesn't work. The reality is, every time I tried to stop negative thinking, I would find myself caught in the vicious cycle of negative thinking over and over and over again. I would try to tell myself things were better. I would think positive thoughts. Then terrible things would happen. I would then go back into the negative thinking, back into the negative feeling, and then ultimately negative things kept happening in my life. And the vicious cycle continued over and over and over again. Until finally, I was so fed up with everybody telling me to just think happier thoughts. It dawned on me, maybe the answer isn't to think happier thoughts, but to take positive action. If positive thinking can't get me out of negative thinking, maybe positive action can. That was the epiphany that I had, and I had so much hope that it would be able to help me. So I came up with a plan, and I tried to find some activities that would be able to knock me out of the negative, vicious cycle of negative thinking. And so I decided that I was going to try to do 20 sit-ups, 20 pull-ups, and 20 push-ups. That's what I was going to do. I thought that physical exercise might be the trick that I needed to get me out of the vicious cycle of negative thinking. So I tried it. And guess what happened? It didn't work. It didn't work because I never found the energy to take such rigorous physical activity when I was feeling so lost in the bottomless pit of negative thinking. I never summoned enough strength or courage to consistently use it and do it. So instead, I had to find another way. So I researched all of the Islamic materials that I could come through, all of the Masters of Social Work, other resources that I have in my School of Social Work, all of the resources that I came across. I decided to come up with something else. 5 steps, 5 easy steps in just 5 minutes that I would be able to consistently use in order to get out of the negative thinking and to get out of that bottomless pit and to break the vicious cycle of negative thinking. When I wrote this resource, I call it Rocket Rescue, 5 minutes out of any mental darkness. When I came up with that idea and I wrote it all down, I decided to put it into practice. There I was in the middle of negative thinking, beating myself up, and I decided to use these 5 quick activities, 5 steps, 5 minutes. And by the grace and mercy of Allah, alhamdulillah, I was able to finally physically remove myself from the mental suffering, from the negative suffering, from the negative thinking, and from the bottomless pit. I was free. I got out of the negative thinking. I was done. I was able to escape the mental darkness. But more important than that, I was able to find hope again. I was able to feel happy that here I am. Whenever I find a circumstance that makes me thinking differently in dark thoughts, I would be able to once again use these 5 simple steps to get out of the negative thinking, to physically remove myself from the negative thoughts, and to get the hope and the tranquility that I searched for. I decided to write these 5 steps into a quick, easy ebook, and I wanted to share it with those who are interested in getting out of negative thinking, and to get out of the vicious cycle, and to get out of the bottomless pit. And so, if you're interested in receiving this, if you click the link that's attached and go ahead and get the free ebook that I have, Rocket Rescue is at the very next page, and you'll be able to get a copy for yourself so that you too can physically remove yourself and break the vicious cycle of negative thinking and get yourself back to hope again. Again, my name is Brother Omar Rashed, and I pray that you take action to feel relief. And again, I bid you adieu. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi ta'ala wa barakatuh.